The Samsung KS9500 was one of the best televisions we ever tested, so it would stand to reason that the TV behind me, the KS9500, would have the same kind of performance. Here's the thing though, the KS9500 is not the top of the line this year. It actually sits just below the top of the line as the second tier. And that's important because this TV doesn't have a full array backlight. And that's the kind of spec that can make a huge impact on the TV's performance. Make no mistake, it is very much a premium TV though. Ultra HD premium certified as a matter of fact, so you get Ultra HD resolution, HDR10 compatibility with 1000 nits of peak brightness, and it can produce about 96% of the colors in the DCI P3 color spec, which basically means it gets very close to the color you see in a digital cinema. You'll pay about $3,500 for the 65-inch model you see here, and about $2,500 for the 55-inch, so premium pricing, but a little less than last year's model. Let's take a close look at the design because it's clear Samsung placed a lot of importance on how this TV looks, even when it's turned off. The most obvious design element is the bezel, which is ultra thin and kind of integrated into the glass panel so it feels seamless. That's going to turn a lot of heads in the store right there. And then there's the back of the TV, which as far as backs of TVs go is pretty attractive, I think. Most of the connections go in this one connect box, so there's a minimum of that on the back of the TV. And you don't see any exposed bolts or rivets, you've just got the VESA mounting holes. And then you've got this shearing pattern on the back. So from a designer perspective, that's really cool. But on the other hand, when was the last time you called up your buddy and said, "Hey dude, come over and check out the back of my TV"? Never. That's when. It's a sexy TV, no doubt about it, and I was excited to get in this prototype if for no other reason than to connect the Samsung Ultra HD Blu-ray player to see what 4K Blu-ray was going to look like. But as a prototype, this isn't an official review. We only review production model TVs, so consider this a sort of preview on what to expect when this TV starts shipping in a few weeks. Let's get going with the user interface. First off, Samsung's menu system got a bit of an overhaul, and for me, this is refreshing because I feel like it's a lot easier to get at the commonly accessed stuff than before. But then I get into the deeper calibration settings and I'm slightly annoyed because I can't do a reverse scroll to get to the end of the menu faster. You got to keep on scrolling until the end. The next element in the user interface is the remote. The TV comes with two remotes, a smart style remote and a standard clicker. If you like the old school wand style like I do, it's good to know one is still available. Still, this may be Samsung's best smart remote yet. Finally, the bright shining star in terms of user experience is the Tizen Smart TV interface. You can switch instantly between sources, and that comes in really handy if you need to bounce between, say, cable and Netflix. Netflix picks up right where you left off with no loading delays at all, and I love that if I'm just popping out of my binge session to check some game scores and want to come right back. As for the streaming apps themselves, you get access to 4K content from Netflix, Amazon Prime with HDR, and MGO. Samsung has a deal cooked up with DirecTV for some 4K satellite stuff, but all other apps will max out at 1080p. As for picture quality, there's some really impressive elements. Color after calibration is right on, but more importantly, I think, is that the movie mode is decent right out of the box. You don't have to do a ton of playing around to get a really gorgeous picture. And when you go to Ultra HD Blu-rays with expanded color, you can see how this TV is going to pay off down the road when content like this is more readily available. This TV's 1000 nit peak brightness helps make for an extremely brilliant picture, especially when watching HDR content. The spectral highlights do make a difference, and you get a picture that's just that much more dazzling. I'm interested to see how movie producers are going to take advantage of this feature as they continue with their filmmaking in a new era. I also feel like the brightness uniformity across the screen is pretty good as well. This is certainly a TV that can do battle in a sun-soaked living room. Samsung puts top-notch processing in their TVs, and I feel like upscaled Blu-ray discs look excellent on this set. The TV also does a good job of cleaning up compressed cable and satellite feeds as well. But beyond excellent upscaling, I feel like the TV offers some great motion resolution and relatively blur-free picture, even with the motion smoothing turned off. So far, so great, right? But now we get to a pretty major caveat. The TV's backlighting system leaves a lot to be desired. To be fair, the TV is as sexy as it is because they moved the backlighting to the bottom edge, and this resulted in just that much thinner a TV. But the trade-off is too much if you're at all serious about watching movies, especially in the dark. The problem with having edge lighting at the bottom of the TV instead of at the sides is that the backlight shows itself a lot and in multiple ways. Take this screensaver logo, for instance. It's bouncing around the screen, and not only do you see the edge lighting plain as day on the bottom, you get these vertical bands of light. And then there's this local dimming algorithm, which I'm not sure why goes fully bright before darkening back up. You can see that happening right here. Worst of all though, since the light is at the bottom, there's no cinema black feature to darken the letterbox bars. That was one of my favorite Samsung specific features, and now it's gone. This means that the lower letterbox bars on a movie will always look a little gray, calling attention to the backlight more than I find acceptable. Also, off-axis viewing is not very good. Just standing up off-axis washes the blacks out, and color takes a bit of a hit as you move off to the left and right. The narrow sweet spot is the other big complaint I have about this TV. It kind of pains me to say it, but sometimes style really does trump substance. I mean, that works for TVs too. And I think anybody looking for just a gorgeous, stunning TV is gonna be infatuated with the KS9500. With that said, it's not a videophiles TV. So if you like to watch a lot of movies in the dark and you love excellent black levels, I think you should dig deep into your pockets and be a little patient for the KS9800 that's coming out later this year.